In the wild, there is no room for pity. There is only one law: hunt or be hunted. The rulers have risen, embodiments of primal power and perfect predatory instinct. Every moment of silence is but a prelude to a mortal struggle. And across the wildlands of Africa, the brutal symphony of survival is once again written in blood. The king of beasts has appeared, quietly, without fanfare, heralding the savage hunts to come. In the fiery heart of Africa, where the sky seems to bleed into the earth, a river winds through the golden plains. This is the Masai Mara. This legendary river not only nourishes the vast land, but is also the lifeblood for millions of wild souls. Each year, as the dry season arrives, the Mara becomes the stage for the greatest migration on the planet. Herds of wildebeest, zebra, and Thompson's gazelle must face the perilous crossing, where the jaws of crocodiles lie hidden, waiting coldly to extinguish a life. In that moment, all of nature seems to hold its breath. Life and death are separated by a single leap. Kenya is a place where nature does not simply exist. It lives vibrant, fierce, and full of spirit. Across the Great Plains, amongst the scrub and woodlands, life is in constant, restless motion. The Big Five, the five iconic species of the African continent, appear one by one, the protagonists in a drama of the wild. There is the African elephant, silent yet majestic. The rhinoceros, mysterious and rare. The Cape buffalo, stubborn and resilient. The leopard, as graceful as a phantom. And, of course, the lion, the uncrowned king of the Savannah. Kenya is also home to thousands of species of birds, antelope, giraffes, hippos, cheetahs, and countless reptiles, each a unique note in the grand symphony of survival. Among them all, it is the lion that commands nature itself to fall silent with its roar. With its magnificent golden mane, its regal gait, and its powerful gaze, the lion is a living symbol of strength and authority. The Masai Mara is Kenya's most famous reserve, where large prides of lions live in tightly organized social structures. Unlike the solitary image of other great cats, like the tiger or the leopard, the lion is a social animal. A dominant male, sometimes a coalition of brothers, leads a pride of related females and their young. These strong bonds, discipline, and clear roles create a collective as formidable as any tribe. The sun scorches the Kenyan Savannah in the final days of the dry season, when the heat seems to crack the very earth. In this arid landscape, the Masai Mara River, though nearly depleted, remains a vital destination for countless species. A mighty herd of Cape buffalo, hundreds strong, moves slowly toward the riverbank, where a few muddy pools remain. Their curved horns, like weapons of war, glint in the sun. They lower their heads to drink, their massive bodies heaving in the oppressive heat. The few females rest in the sparse shade, while the young, covered in mud, stay close to their mothers. The air seems peaceful, but on the savannah, everything can change in an instant. Not far away, beneath a dry acacia tree, tawny shapes lie motionless in the tall grass. A pride of lions, several adult females, and an old male are resting, but their eyes are fixed on the buffalo herd. They need no signal, no sound. A single glance and a subtle flick of a tail are enough for the pride to understand that an opportunity is approaching. The wind shifts, carrying the thick scent of sweat and the sound of hooves in the mud. A hunt, or rather, a battle, is about to begin. In a moment, the pride will explode into action, shattering the stillness, and attack the herd with all the power and instinct of millennia. Blood, mud, and dust will merge in an unforgiving dance of survival. After a breathtaking chase, the pride finally brings down its quarry. They begin to tear at the flesh, savoring a rare taste of freshness. It is a worthy reward for the victor after a life and death struggle. But even for a king, the throne is never permanent. In the world of lions, life is a series of relentless battles. Adult males constantly challenge one another for power, for control of the pride, and with it, the right to mate. These brutal fights can last for hours, ending in deep wounds or even death. When a new male deposes the ruler, he often kills all the cubs of the vanquished, forcing the females back into estrus, a harsh but necessary biological cycle for evolution. In the heart of the arid Kalahari Desert, a place that seems to swallow all life, there exists a natural wonder called the Okavango. It is a rare inland delta, where the river does not flow to the sea but vanishes into the thirsty earth. Each year, when the floods arrive from Angola, the Okavango Delta awakens like a miracle. And that is when the animals begin their long journey, converging here from all directions. After crossing hundreds of miles of burning desert, herds of buffalo, giraffe, antelope, and wild dogs finally find the fresh, life-giving pools. With each step sinking deep into the soft, damp earth, they rush to the water's edge, drinking and immersing themselves, as if to quench a thirst built up over an entire dry season. It is a moment of rebirth, as exhausted creatures find new life in a land that seemed utterly barren. On a green plain, where the water has receded after the flood, leaving behind soft, moist earth, tawny shapes lie in wait. It is a pride of lions, intently watching the every move of a distant wildebeest herd. The silence is heavy. A light breeze skims the tops of the grass, carrying the scent of earth and life. Amidst the seemingly peaceful vegetation, Only the amber eyes of the pride are in motion, watching, analyzing, and waiting. Hunting is not a game of strength, but an art of timing. And the floodplains of the Okavango are a stage where instinct, strategy, and patience combine to create a spectacular display of survival. As the first lioness bursts from the tall grass, the wildebeest herd scatters in panic. The thunder of hooves on the damp ground and the sound of ragged breaths echo across the plain. The pride moves like living arrows, tearing through wind and grass, pursuing their prey under a sun that bakes the earth. On the Okavango Plains, where everything seems to be a symbol of peace and fertility, lies one of the most brutal battlefields of life. Here, every creature must choose: flee or fight, wait or attack. Whether predator or prey, each day is a gamble for survival. Life continues in an eternal cycle. The death of a wildebeest today is food for the pride, energy that will sustain the lives of their cubs in the future. There is no absolute victory, only a balance fragile, cold, and haunting on the winds that sweep across the Okavango. The African savanna stretches endlessly, its golden fields and scattered acacia trees creating an ideal habitat for the lion. The climate here is harsh, with a long, hot, dry season, punctuated by a short rainy season when the green grass returns. This variation creates a distinct rhythm of life, where migratory species are in constant motion, searching for food and water. And the lion, the apex predator, always follows these migrations. The Savannah lion has a large, muscular body and a pale brown coat, providing perfect camouflage in the dry grass. Males are distinguished by their dense manes, which are not only a symbol of strength, but also a layer of protection during fights. They are not as adept at climbing as leopards, nor as swift as cheetahs, but they compensate with formidable power and a remarkable ability to work as a team, allowing them to take down large prey like buffalo, zebra, and wildebeest. Unlike most solitary big cats, the Savannah lion is a social species with a complex pride structure. A pride usually consists of 10 to 15 individuals, led by 1 or 2 dominant males. The lionesses are responsible for hunting and raising the young, while the males protect the territory and the pride from intruders. This unity and clear division of labor make them the most effective hunters on the savannah. The lion cubs, their coats still dappled with spots, chase and pounce on one another in the grass, climbing on their mother's back and playing with her ears and tail in a never-ending game. Each clumsy pounce is one of their first lessons in hunting. In this arid land, a mother's care is the safest fortress for these small lives. And in these rare moments of peace, the entire savannah seems to fall silent, leaving only the sound of the wind and the warmth of the lion family. In the Masai Mara, the apex predators have always been symbols of absolute power. They are perfect killing machines, the culmination of thousands of years of evolution, where life and death are separated by a single breath. The Masai Mara, a story of relentless hunters and the fight for survival. As the first rays of sunlight appear on the horizon, the Masai Mara awakens in a majestic scene. Solitary acacia trees stand tall, casting sharp, dark shadows against the vibrant sky, like silent sentinels of this wild land. In a seemingly quiet moment, the cold, golden eyes of a Nile crocodile slowly break the murky surface of the Mara River, revealing just a fraction of its lethal danger. Somewhere in the tall grass, cheetahs glide like ghosts, their agile bodies blending into the landscape, almost invisible. On the quiet banks of the Mara, a pride of lions gathers silently, leisurely enjoying cool sips of water in the searing heat of the savannah. A magnificent male lion suddenly lets out a thunderous roar. The sound echoes across the vast plains, a declaration of indisputable power. In the Masai Mara, the weak are never allowed to survive. Located in southwestern Kenya, the Masai Mara is a masterpiece of nature, where golden plains stretch to the horizon, intersected by the Mara River, which winds like a silver thread glittering in the sun. This is the cradle of the most fearsome predators, a perfect portrait of the balance between power and adversity. The lion's sharp eyes immediately spot a warthog lingering near the bushes. Wasting no time, it launches into pursuit. The warthog quickly becomes a satisfying meal for the entire pride. With over 90 species of mammals and 570 species of birds, the Masai Mara boasts one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. Vast herds of wildebeest move like a living river across the land, creating a spectacular sight. Giraffes stretch their long necks, zebras graze peacefully, and rare birds soar in the open sky. The Masai Mara is not just a place, it is a living wonder, where nature displays its greatness, but also its ever-present dangers. The Mara River flows swiftly, reflecting the scorching sun, a source of life and a deadly trap. As the main artery of the region, it meanders through the endless plains, carrying the fresh, nourishing water that sustains all life. Millions of wildebeest gather on the riverbanks, forming endless lines as they await the most dangerous moment of their 100-mile migration. The sound of the current merges with the thunder of hooves and the echoing calls of the herd on the other side, creating a tense symphony that signals the harsh trials to come. Beneath the river's surface, a huge, dark shape moves slowly, almost invisible in the murky water. The cold, emotionless eyes of a Nile crocodile watch every movement on the surface. Its sharp teeth remain hidden in the mud, waiting for the right moment. As the wildebeest plunge into the river, creating a chaos of splashing water and panicked cries, a crocodile suddenly erupts from the surface. Its jaws clamp down on its prey, and in an instant, a brutal death roll tears the animal apart. The sound of breaking bones mingles with the victim's cries of agony, until a terrifying silence falls. Here waits a creature from a lost world, a survivor from the age of dinosaurs. Its power is not measured in weight or territory, but in the depth of time. For its jaws close with the force accumulated over 60 million years of evolution, an inescapable return to a primal past. Each year, some 6,000 wildebeest die attempting to cross the Mara River, falling victim to these ancient hunters. They do not hunt merely to survive, but to enforce the unforgiving laws of nature. With terrifying patience, they can wait for hours underwater to execute a single, perfect strike. At the Mara River, life and death are intertwined more intensely than anywhere else on Earth. As the harsh, dry season grips the African plains, the Mara River shrinks to its last remaining pools. On the damp mud of the cracked riverbed, dozens of hippos and crocodiles are forced to crowd together, surviving in a confined space. A silent battle between life and death unfolds hour by hour, revealing the brutality of the wild. Under the searing Masai Mara sun, a lone hippo walks silently across the cracked earth. Each slow, heavy step seems to carry both exhaustion and a final glimmer of hope. It is searching for a place that can offer life, a new pool of water, a chance to survive the harsh, dry season. After a lonely journey across the arid land, the hippo finally finds a waterhole, a precious oasis where its kind are resting peacefully in the cool, life-giving water. There, the remaining waterhole has become the epicenter of survival for all species during the unforgiving dry season. Lions conceal themselves under the sparse trees. Giraffes quietly lower their heads at the water's edge, while herds of antelope and buffalo approach cautiously, all gathering around the last source of life in the vast Masai Mara. Hippos are the characteristic inhabitants of the Mara River, playing an irreplaceable role in maintaining ecological balance. Spending more than 16 hours a day submerged to protect their sensitive skin from the burning sun, these creatures, weighing up to 6,600 pounds, move slowly along the riverbed with graceful steps, as if dancing in their own peaceful aquatic world. As the young hippo quietly approaches the new pool, its arrival quickly draws the wary eyes of the territory-holding hippos. Unwilling to accept a stranger, the members of the pod react instantly. The dominant male, massive and scarred, moves forward with unquestionable authority. A fierce battle begins. A single hippo can excrete up to 55 pounds of dung per day, a seemingly insignificant act, yet it is an essential source of nutrients. This waste promotes the growth of aquatic plants and small fish populations, indirectly nourishing the entire Mara River ecosystem. Under the scorching African sun, the Masai Mara Savannah is a stage for the great predators. Chief among them is the lion, a symbol of power and majesty. The roar of a male lion can be heard up to 5 miles away, shaking the savannah and putting every creature on alert. While the male lion stands proudly on a rocky outcrop with his magnificent mane, it is the lionesses who are the true warriors. Hidden in the tall grass, their sharp eyes watch every movement of the zebras and antelope. With perfect coordination, they encircle their prey, launching precise attacks. Although their bite force is only about 1,000 pounds, they do not need bone-crushing jaws, for their technique is to clamp down on the prey's throat until it suffocates, felling their target in moments. Across the vast Masai Mara, zebras stand out with their black and white stripes, like bold brushstrokes on a living canvas of nature. This distinctive appearance makes them a favorite target for lions, the region's ultimate predator. However, a zebra is not an easy kill. They possess powerful legs, always ready to bolt like an arrow, trying to escape the predator's claws with incredible speed and agility. The pride of lions approaches in silence, their steps so light they seem to glide over the grass. Their sharp eyes remain fixed on the zebras grazing nonchalantly, completely unaware of the danger. But the pride does not attack immediately. Predatory instinct tells them to wait. To wait for the golden moment, when the prey is most vulnerable, its guard completely down. And then, that moment arrives. With a decisive leap, the lioness launches herself like an arrow, shattering the silence. Sensing the danger, the zebra panics and bolts. With its powerful legs and incredible speed, it puts all its energy into escaping the deadly claws close behind. After a breathtaking chase, the zebra is exhausted and cannot escape the lion's decisive attack. But the law of the predator does not exist only in Africa. Across the ocean, under a different sun, the same ancient drama unfolds, but with a new cast of characters. Here, in the deserts of North America, the throne is not announced with a roar, but with a rattle. The planet's most dangerous snakes: speed, venom, and power. The super predators of the shadows, the snake and its battle for survival. Amidst the arid deserts and semi-deserts of North America, where the wind whips sand across a sun-scorched landscape, a distinctive sound rises, the rattle of a rattlesnake's tail. That sound is a warning from the kingdom of death, a reminder that here lurks one of the most dangerous predators of the American West. Belonging to the genus Crotalus, the rattlesnake is the embodiment of silent danger, honed by millions of years of evolution into a perfect assassin. The rattle is the rattlesnake's most striking feature, composed of hollow, interlocking segments of keratin. When threatened or preparing to strike, the snake vibrates its tail up to 50 times a second, creating its characteristic sound. This sound not only intimidates enemies, but is also a clear warning that death is near. The rattlesnake's lethal power lies in its hemotoxic venom, which directly attacks the blood and muscle tissues, impairing blood clotting and causing rapid necrosis. A single bite can cause uncontrollable bleeding and lead to death within hours if left untreated. The strike itself is incredibly fast, just 0.2 of a second, leaving the victim almost no time to react. Across the lush wetlands of East Africa, as the morning mist begins to clear, a symbol of royalty stirs into life. The grey-crowned crane, nature's most celebrated dancer, steps into the light with an ancient, timeless pride. Their crowning glory is a spectacular golden crest, radiating like captured shards of sunlight atop their heads. Piercing blue eyes survey the domain, contrasting sharply with the powerful, velvet-red gular sac at their throat. Standing over a meter tall, they move through the reed beds with the grace and poise of true monarchs. This beauty is not merely for show. It is the key to an ancient ritual, the most critical chapter in their life cycle. As the mating call echoes, an invisible stage is set amidst the vast, untamed wilderness. It begins with rhythmic bows, a gesture of profound respect and trust offered to a partner. Sweeping wings unfurl, displaying a masterclass of chestnut and snowy white plumage. Their resonant, trumpet-like calls drift across the savannah, at once a territorial claim and a vow of devotion. These are lifelong companions, and this intricate dance is the invisible thread that binds a monogamous pair forever. Uniquely among their kin, a specialized hind toe allows them to roost high in the trees, watching over the world below. Yet, the vanishing wetlands now threaten to silence this magnificent dance forever. Uganda's national bird stands firm, a living testament to the resilience and raw beauty of the African continent. Amidst the harshness of the wild, the grey-crowned crane shines like a living jewel, a masterpiece of evolution gifted to this ancient land. Dawn on the African savanna breaks long before the sun appears. The last traces of night still cling to the sky, but the horizon has softened to a hazy grey. A chill still clings to the blades of grass. A light breeze rustles through the dry stalks, stirring the vast ochre plains. Beneath this immense sky, there is a pair. A young male lion, his mane not yet fully grown but already regal, and a lioness, sleek, swift, and sharp. The male lies sleeping on his side, his paws outstretched. His breathing is steady, his body utterly relaxed. But the female is awake. Her eyes, clear and contemplative, scan the plains as if searching for some meaning or a potential threat. Perhaps she is thinking of last night's failed hunt. Perhaps the emptiness in her belly makes her count every footstep of the distant zebra herd. Or perhaps she is simply in love, in that particular way of animals wordless, but with a powerful, gravitational pull that binds her to her mate. They rise almost at the same time, as if by some invisible command. The lioness stretches her forelegs, arching her back, awakening every muscle. The male approaches, placing a heavy paw on her back. It is a gesture of possession, of challenge, of desire. Startled, the female turns, baring her teeth. A low growl, like a soft rebuke. The male freezes, meeting her gaze. A silent confrontation. A moment later, the tension dissolves. The lioness lies down again, a gesture of permission. The male knows this is the moment. The male's bite to the scruff of her neck is a strange and ancient paradox, a seemingly violent gesture, born not of aggression, but of absolute necessity. It is the key that unlocks a legacy passed down through millennia. For lions, the act is brief, lasting only 10 to 20 seconds. But it is repeated dozens of times over several days to increase the chances of conception. Then, stillness descends. The male walks away, shaking his mane, while the female remains on her back, as if savoring the last of the cool morning air. And then, as if all this were merely a prelude to the light, the sun appears. The orange sphere rises slowly, bathing the entire sky in gold. The two lions lie side by side. Their bodies touch, their breaths in rhythm with the earth. A morning that belongs only to them and to the eternal wild. Meanwhile, in another corner of the savannah, the mist has not yet burned away. It hangs like a diaphanous curtain, muffling all sound. Out of the stillness, they emerge. African buffalo, immense and powerful, with broad chests and heavy, curving horns. Dozens, then hundreds. The herd moves slowly, but with an unstoppable force. Each step is deliberate, for they have few enemies to fear. The lead bulls guide the way. Their horns merge to form a solid shield known as a boss's armor against predators and rivals alike. The cows and their calves follow. The young are inquisitive, staying close to their mothers, sniffing the ground as if reading stories left in the dust. The African buffalo is one of the few herbivores that even lions treat with caution. To attack a full-grown bull is to take an enormous risk. They can band together, surrounding and driving off any predator. But today, there is only peace. Their breath mingles with the morning mist. In the early mist, among patches of scorched grass and red earth, a living community is on the move. This is not just a troop, but a complex society, a sprawling family of baboons. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of individuals. Some move with purpose, others scatter, distracted by every bush, every rustle. The young cling to their mothers' backs like mobile bundles of fur, even as their mothers walk with urgency. As the first rays of sun appear, they leave their nightly refuge, a cliff face, a tree, or a termite mound, and begin the search for food. As omnivores, they have a great advantage. Fruits, roots, insects, even small animals, everything is a potential meal. Occasionally, a sharp cry rings out as youngsters settle a dispute. In this society, respect is not a given. It must be earned. The dominant males possess powerful canine teeth, not for eating, but for asserting their authority. Ahead, the shapes of trees begin to emerge through the mist. The woodlands, a place that always promises opportunity or challenge. Against a sky still tinged with a delicate pink, the savannah seems to hold its breath. A profound silence, broken only by the scratching of feet in the dirt. A few dozen small, rounded creatures are moving across the golden carpet. It is a flock of guinea fowl. With their spotted plumage and bare blue and red heads, they have a somewhat comical appearance. But they are, in fact, tough and extremely cautious birds. They never travel alone. Each individual is a part of the flock, a part of the collective. Several are always standing guard. Their world is fraught with danger, and the slightest rustle could be the footfall of a leopard. As the sun climbs higher, they make their way to a murky pool of water left over from the night. They drink hastily, ever vigilant. On the still surface of the pool, the sun is reflected like a sliver of amber. Its light tints the water pink. Ring-necked doves, with their slender, grey-feathered bodies and the distinctive black collar that gives them their name, are also here. They move in small steps, cautious but confident. Beside them, the guinea fowl are also quenching their thirst. Two species, two different worlds, sharing a single need. The dove can suck up water without raising its head, a rare ability in the avian world. Then the silence returns. leaving only the soft beat of wings and the quiet flock calls that echo in the early morning. In this simple moment, one sees all of Africa: earth, water, light, and life, all as one. The light has changed. The pink of dawn has given way to a harsh glare. Heat radiates from the ground, carrying the scent of dust and stillness. On a patch of sand amidst tall, dry grasses, the male lion is lying. The creature, so recently full of passion and movement, is now lost in tranquility. His mane is slightly disheveled. His nose twitches in the heat. He opens one eye, glances around, and closes it again. Here, it is peaceful. His mate is gone. Perhaps she has returned to the pride, or gone to find food. The male will not look for her. He does not need to. He is a lion, the master of this territory. His job is not to fend off hunger, but to defend his domain from other males who will come to challenge him, to take his place. But for now, there are no threats, only the heat and sleep. He is aware of his power and is in no hurry to use it. That is the nature of true authority. High above, in the shade of the canopy, a Vervet's eagle owl is perched. The lord of the night is now just a drowsy guest of the day. Its eyes are half closed, its thick eyelashes almost obscuring its vision. Occasionally, it opens its beak, not to yawn, but simply to cool down. It can sit like this for hours, undisturbed by any movement below. It knows that nothing can approach undetected. Beneath the tree where the owl is perched, a herd of impalas is grazing. Slender and graceful, every movement they make is as fluid as running water. The dry season is not a time of plenty, but the impala are patient. Their ears are in constant motion, catching every sound. Their hearing is always on alert. A little further on, a solitary figure is on the move. A male ostrich, huge yet elegant, strides through a sea of yellow grass. Look closer, and the grass at his feet stirs. It is his chicks, their grey, downy feathers, blending almost perfectly with the ground. The male walks ahead, a living shield, a guide. His role is to draw attention to himself, to protect his brood. With his superb eyesight, he can spot any predator from a great distance. He can outrun a horse and a single kick is powerful enough to kill a lion. Meanwhile, the impalas continue to graze. One raises its head, looks towards the ostrich, and then lowers it again. No one bothers anyone else, but everyone is watching. This is the law of the savannah. On a high granite outcrop, the pair has reunited. The land stretches out below, giving them a commanding view of their territory and their future. The lioness has chosen a strategic spot on a flat rock, higher than the others. She sits there, her neck elongated, gazing into the distance. Below her, the male paces in a constant circuit. His movements are slow but deliberate. This is their time of courtship and mating. They can spend entire days like this, doing almost nothing, mating just once every 20 to 30 minutes. Finally, the male decides it is time. He climbs the rock, passes the female, and then lies down with a regal air, as if to declare, "This is my throne." From this vantage point, he can see everything. He holds his head high, observing, as if deciding who is a stranger and who is not. The lioness does not object. She knows this is necessary. It is not a matter of who is higher, but that they are together. On a branch, a vervet monkey mother is holding her baby. There is a small wound on the infant's temple. Perhaps a scratch from playing. Childhood in the troop is not always gentle, but the mother is ever vigilant, guarding her little one's peace. Her fingers gently stroke the baby's back. The little one lies still, then stirs, reaching out a tiny hand. Two other young monkeys approach. Curious, they sit beside them and touch the baby. The mother allows it. This is part of troop life. In vervet groups, older juveniles and young females often help care for the newborns. It is a way of learning and sharing. But suddenly, a male appears, larger and more confident. He approaches and, without asking, takes the baby. He handles the infant roughly, like a father who has not yet learned tenderness. He inspects it, turning it over and over, as if checking that all is well. Then he climbs down the branch, and the family disappears into the leaves. Meanwhile, Near a dead tree, two magnificent greater kudu have found a patch of green grass. Their spiral horns reach for the sky, but they do not touch. After they have eaten, they raise their heads as if hearing a silent call. Without a word, they depart, melting back into the savannah. From among the withered grass, a mongoose emerges. Its supple body blends with the yellow earth. Only its sharp black eyes betray its presence. It freezes, listening, as if deciding whether to proceed or to vanish. The mongoose is known for its speed and its courage. It looks towards where the kudu have just passed, and then, just as quickly, disappears into the grass. The wind whips up the dry dust, sending it swirling across the plains. Near a waterhole, the morning becomes a hive of activity. The flock of guinea fowl moves among a herd of impala. A warthog appears suddenly, trotting with great purpose. On its back, an oxpecker, both companion and groom. It goes straight to the pool, stoops for a long, slow drink, and then steps in to cool its feet. The impalas, as if nothing has happened, continue to graze. But a black-backed jackal, standing nearby, takes one look and decides to leave. It wants no trouble. The warthog remains calm and confident. The peace at the waterhole is only temporary. From behind the bushes, a small group of elephants appears. Slowly, unhurriedly, they approach. A robust bull chooses a small, clear pool. It sucks the cool liquid into its trunk, sprays it over its back, and continues on its journey. Soon after, the group vanishes into the tall grass. All that remains is the reflection of clouds on the water and the whisper of the wind. And then, out of the quiet, a male lion appears. He is alone, without the lioness, without the young companion. He moves slowly, with the regal bearing of a pride male, secure in his place under the sun. He comes to the water's edge and drinks deeply for a very long time, as if to absorb not just the water, but the strength of the land. Its thirst quenched, the lion slowly moves away and rests in the shade of a tree, ceding the waterhole to the other animals. The impalas do not wait long. Cautiously, but thirsty, they approach the bank with a flock of storks. The antelopes bow their heads to drink, while the birds stand guard. The lion turns away, showing no interest. He is not hungry, or perhaps he is still weary from a night of passion. But the impalas remain vigilant. They look again towards the predator. The lion looks back, his gaze calm, utterly devoid of threat. Their eyes meet. The impalas snort, then resume drinking. The lion watches them quietly, like neighbors. Here, every species knows its place. A pair of crowned lapwings, with their long tails and striking crests, flies in. They circle the bank to survey the scene before approaching the water's edge. As they bend to drink, the crest, standing erect like a rock star's mohawk, gently folds down. When they raise their heads, it springs back up with pride. A quick sip, a look around, and they take flight, leaving nothing but a faint disturbance of the air above the still water. On another stage, a large herd of zebras appears. They move together, a tightly knit family. Among the adults is a single foal. It stays close to its mother, sometimes trying to mimic her movements. They all flick their tails to drive away the bothersome insects. Several individuals roll in the dust, creating a veritable dust bath. This not only helps them cool down, but also removes parasites. Zebras are highly social animals. They live in stable family groups that often combine to form much larger herds. Within the herd, zebras recognize each other by their unique stripe patterns, just as we recognize each other by our faces. These stripes also serve a defensive purpose. When they stand close together, it is difficult for a predator to single out an individual target. The stripes merge into a chaotic, moving pattern. Scientists also believe the stripes may confuse certain insects, such as the tsetse fly. While the adult zebras are grazing or resting, the foal stays near its mother, exploring its world, but never straying too far. While the zebras graze, a leopard watches from a distance, almost invisible among the dry bushes. Its spotted coat blends in with the shadows and the dust. Only the black, white-tufted tip of its tail occasionally twitches with tension. It is clearly hungry. The leopard stalks the zebra foal, waiting for an opportunity. It moves without a sound, weaving through the bushes, lying down, rising again, crawling. Everything is executed with textbook perfection. There is only one problem. The wind is blowing in the wrong direction. The zebras, with their keen sense of smell, are instantly alerted, and, without hesitation, they bolt from the waterhole. The hunt has failed. The leopard emerges from its cover, looks around, follows a game trail, sniffs at elephant tracks, and then stops. It returns to the thicket and disappears in search of a new opportunity.
A tangled, pulsing network of waterways carves its path across the searing grasslands of Africa. Here, the Rufiji River does not merely bestow life, it also sows the seeds of death. On these banks, hesitation is a terminal mistake. A living arrow streaks across the air. The cheetah. It is not simply running, it is gliding along the razor's edge between existence and oblivion. And a sovereign that need not rush, the lion, cold, calculating, and utterly merciless. Beside this water, every cool, refreshing draught could easily be the last. This land stretches across nearly 12,000 square miles, where every beat of life is a small miracle. Amidst the relentless struggle for survival, Nyerere stands firm, preserving its wild and untamed soul intact. The park takes its name from the nation's founding father and first president, Julius Nyerere. Covering more than 11,200 square miles, it is now Tanzania's largest national park and one of the largest on the planet. The tropical climate, defined by two distinct rainy seasons, orchestrates the rhythm of all life within. These elements combine to forge one of the most pristine ecological zones remaining on the African continent. Able, thriving packs of African wild dogs maintain their cycles of life uninterrupted. The rare tracks of the black rhinoceros are pressed into the dry earth, a silent testament to their enduring, tenacious existence. Nyerere is more than just a sanctuary. It is a vital stronghold against the finality of extinction. Along the Rufiji River and its tributaries, the gallery, forests and seasonal floodplains form the ecological heart of Nyerere. As the sun begins its slow descent, a troop of vervet monkeys gathers on the low branches near the Rufiji's edge. They are easily identified by their silver-grey coats, contrasting sharply with the bare, black skin of their faces. Vervet monkeys are masters of endurance, relying on impressive spatial memory and an adaptable diet. They play a critical role in the ecosystem, helping to disperse seeds and serving as a key indicator of the forest's health. From the high canopies along the Rufiji, an iconic call rings out, proclaiming the presence of the African fish eagle. With a wingspan of up to 7.9 feet and a prominent white head, they are the very image of a great river system. A lightning-fast dive, and the catch is secured firmly in those formidable needle-sharp talons. Their presence reflects an abundant source of fish and a vigorously thriving riverine ecosystem. Beneath the surface of the Rufiji, pods of hippos spend the day in silent, cool submersion. By night, they silently vacate the water, following well-worn trails to nearby grasslands, where each may consume up to 88 pounds of fresh grass. Weighing up to 4,000 pounds and with jaws that can gape 150 degrees, the hippo is an imposing symbol of primeval power. A remarkable fact, hippos share a common ancestry with whales, a semi-aquatic creature that lived some 55 million years ago. The pinkish secretion from their skin acts not merely as a natural sunblock, but also as an invisible shield against bacteria and dangerous dehydration. Another important character, and sometimes a direct rival to the hippo, is the Nile crocodile. It often lies in motionless ambush beneath the water's surface, waiting for unsuspecting prey to come to drink. With a bite force reaching approximately 5,000 pounds of force, it holds its title as the undisputed predator of the riverbanks. Yet, there is a surprising trade-off. The muscles used to open their jaws are so weak that a simple band of tape can easily secure an adult crocodile's snout. Moving away from the humid riverine forests, the landscape opens out into vast grasslands and the Miombo woodlands. The inherent harshness of this place is the driving force behind some truly astonishing survival strategies. On this arid ground, the African bush elephant does not just adapt, it actively reshapes its entire environment. These great herds are typically led by an experienced matriarch whose wisdom dictates the very survival of the group. The trunk, with over 40,000 muscles, is their versatile survival tool. It can perform complex tasks, from stripping leaves and breaking branches to excavating deep water wells in the dry soil. Extraordinary spatial memory allows them to recall the location of dozens of seasonal water and food sources. African elephants also display profound emotional intelligence, engaging in elaborate greeting rituals, sharing sustenance, and even exhibiting behavior that resembles mourning when a herd member dies. As the enormous forms of the African elephants recede, the great herds of African buffalo appear. They mass together in colossal groups, sometimes numbering thousands in the wet season, a crucial survival strategy to dilute the threat of lion attack. In response, the buffalo have developed formidable defensive tactics, positioning the young at the center and pushing the large bulls to the periphery for direct confrontation. As the sun dips lower, a palpable tension begins to settle. In the distance, the low, powerful silhouette of a lion is approaching. The lion's hunt in Nyerere is a breathtaking display of sophisticated coordination and intelligent strategy. The lions here retain an almost pure wild lineage, a benefit of the area's natural isolation. Lionesses typically execute the cunning ambush, while the larger males join in to bring down formidable prey like the African buffalo. But just as the lions prepare to reap the reward of their immense effort, a pair of sharp, calculating eyes watches quietly. If a hard-won carcass suddenly vanishes, the likely culprit is the spotted hyena. The spotted hyena is much more than a mere scavenger. They are formidable hunters, securing between 60 and 95% of their food through active predation. Possessing the strongest bite force of all the hyena family, they can pulverize the largest bones of a giraffe or buffalo. Here, the spotted hyena is not just a merciless predator. It is nature's highly efficient cleanup crew. Another warrior of this arid land is the cheetah, the very embodiment of pure, unadulterated speed. The cheetah can accelerate up to 75 miles per hour, an astonishing speed record in the terrestrial animal kingdom. But this speed comes at a heavy cost. A body designed for sprinting has limited its ability to climb or effectively defend itself. Furthermore, genetic studies confirm they possess very low genetic diversity, leading to weak immune systems and slow adaptation. Contrary to the cheetah's solitary approach, the African wild dog hunts as a seamless pack. They are incredible hunters, with a success rate of 60 to 90%, easily surpassing the lion or the leopard. Each hunt is a symphony of unwavering teamwork. Members communicate with each other and coordinate to drive prey into a strategic trap. With an estimated 800 to 1,000 individuals in Nyerere, this is the largest known population of African wild dogs. Across the grasslands, the Angolan giraffe uses its superior height to reach the nutritious foliage of the high canopy. However, drinking water requires an awkward, precarious maneuver, putting them in an extremely vulnerable posture. A complex system of valves in the veins and arteries along the neck helps regulate blood pressure, preventing a sudden rush of blood to the brain when it lowers its head. Often browsing on the lower leaves beneath the giraffe is the greater kudu. Its most remarkable feature is the magnificent spiral horn, which can exceed 3 feet in length, serving both as a weapon and a male's biological signal. Although not built for great speed, the greater kudu possesses a powerful vertical jump of up to 8.2 feet, which helps it to clear and escape predators. Moving away from the parched earth, the Nyerere landscape softens in the wetlands and seasonal floodplains. When the waters rise, amphibians emerge from the earth. Insects hatch in colossal swarms, providing a rich feast for birds and fish. Here, the white-faced whistling duck gathers in large flocks in the shallow lakes and swamps. Meanwhile, the malachite kingfisher perches on low branches, patiently staking out small fish or floating insects. A prominent amphibian of this region is the African bullfrog. Of formidable size, with males potentially weighing up to 2.6 pounds, it is an opportunistic predator. During the dry season, it burrows deep into the mud and encloses itself in a thick, mucus cocoon, entering a state of estivation. Gliding across the marshy terrain, one might encounter the lechwe, an antelope native to these wetlands. Its elongated hind legs allow it to leap and gain momentum on the treacherous mud without sinking, achieving speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. One of the most striking sights in this ecosystem are the bold, stark stripes on the body of the plains zebra. They often move in partnership with antelope species, benefiting from the early danger detection of their more vigilant companions. The zebra plays the role of the pathway opener. By cropping the taller, coarser grass, they make way for smaller grazers to access the tender shoots beneath. A common bird of these wetlands is the African jacana, often given the descriptive moniker of the Jesus bird. With disproportionately large feet and unusually long toes, it can tread lightly across the floating vegetation mats without sinking. As the seasonal swamps begin to recede and dry, life in Nyerere shifts once more, this time toward the rocky hills and escarpments. This area of rugged terrain, featuring exposed granite outcrops, provides an ideal refuge for wildlife that prefers a more secluded existence. It is home to some of the continent's most sensitive and most vulnerable animals. A notable species in these hill forests is the black rhinoceros. They seek out the rocky granite slopes, where dense thickets and difficult terrain shield them from prying eyes. This is not just a place of hiding, it is one of the last quiet, pristine areas where this species can persist in near secrecy. The black rhinoceros is one of the most vulnerable wild animals on Earth, and not simply because of its critically low numbers. They have a slow reproductive rate, with a female typically only giving birth to one calf every 4 to 5 years. They are solitary creatures, lacking the benefit of communal vigilance or group defense. And ironically, their iconic horn, the very feature that grants them their name, is also their most profound weakness. Among the grazers, the klipspringer stands out as an absolute master of rock climbing. Their thick, disc-shaped hooves provide a secure, firm grip on the sheer-sided granite crevices. Another master of the rocky ascent, but one who climbs not to escape but to hunt, is the leopard. Unlike the lion, the leopard is a solitary hunter, avoiding direct confrontation. It hunts by night, relying on acute vision and movements that are virtually silent. After a kill, it does not feed immediately. Instead, it drags the heavy carcass up into a tree or deep into a rock fissure to protect it from opportunists like the spotted hyena. Finally, a shadow that is silent yet formidable. The African rock python, the largest snake on the continent. It hunts by ambush, not relying on venom. Instead, it strikes, grips, and then coils its massive body tightly around its prey. Its constricting force can exceed 13,000 pounds of force per square yard, sufficient to momentarily halt the circulatory system. Although these wild creatures have found a series of strongholds to call home, they are acutely aware that their sanctuary is increasingly fragile. In the past 2 decades, poaching has inflicted a devastating toll. Between 2006 and 2014, the elephant population plummeted from over 109,000 to approximately 15,000 individuals. A more profound challenge arises from the Rufiji River itself. The Julius Nyerere hydropower project is transforming this ancient river into a national energy hub. But in return, the regulation of the river's flow threatens the natural flood cycles, which are vital for the successful breeding of hundreds of species. Climate change only adds to the uncertainty, disrupting breeding cycles, migration timing, and the fundamental dynamics of the food chain. Like an old elephant that once escaped the poacher's snare, it now trembles beneath the rumble of the excavator. The danger this time does not come from claw or sharp tooth, but from the invisible hands of distant progress. But perhaps humanity has begun to heed those silent distress calls. Nyerere is being defended by quiet yet powerful efforts. Thanks to aggressive anti-poaching measures, the elephant population has rebounded to over 20,000 individuals by 2023. In the Rufiji River Basin, the Tanzanian government has begun piloting seasonal flood release models to restore critical habitats. Mining projects have been suspended, reopening vital migration corridors for large mammals. Each of these changes is a small but resolute step forward, and from this quiet persistence, Nyerere is slowly regaining its breath. A testament to the fierce resilience of nature when it is simply granted an opportunity to heal itself.